Rotax Max Grand Finals here in Portimao, Portugal. There's the poleman, Ben Cooper, driving for Kalman Motorsport Hungary. Driving kart 319, Cooper was winner of the pre-final. He's British-born, but with a Canadian race licence. That's 321, Zenderuva from Belgium, who lines up second on the grid. And then on row 2, we've got Cody. Making it through to this year's grand final. The interesting thing about this race is that there are some very quick drivers right at the back of the grid. For example, Patrick Pearce, 4th in the Euro Challenge, is 23rd on the grid, and you've got Lucas Orrock and Tom Dearlison, both regular frontrunners in Europe, starting 30th. The lights go out and the final race of the weekend gets underway, and it's a tremendous start for Ben Cooper. Cody Hodgson looks like he's going to sneak into second place ahead of Zenderuva. Deruva staying on the outside line, some contact there, and Deruva in the turquoise colours gets battered out of the way, and the Belgian is going to end up down in about 5th place. Champion. And I think he got hit from behind. 372, Kevin Ludy got caught out as well. Others lose time trying to avoid them. And that's 2 of our top 10 qualifiers out of the running already. Perfect start though for Ben Cooper. He converts pole position into an early race lead. In second place. Getting into a little bit of trouble at the first corner. Then in 5th place, it's 322, Matthias de Tige, the current Euro Rotax Max champion. And completing the top 6 in kart 335 is the driver who finished just behind him in the Euro Series, Mika Laiho from Finland. Ben Cooper, the race leader in the black and red team. For grabs this weekend. There's also a Nations Cup, which everyone is trying to contribute points towards. I guess the 2 nations at the top of the leaderboard at the moment. That's right, Great Britain and Canada. So Ben Cooper's caught right in the middle of that one. Through turn 1, and Deruva's trying to squeeze alongside Hodgson. Did he make... Zachary Richard, the Robichon, gets ahead of Jari Huttunen and Eduardo Latau. The Portuguese driver follows him through. Jari Huttunen, the Finnish driver, losing 2 places in quick succession. Cooper still about a second clear in the lead. Carl Ensby running a little bit wide in second place. And there's 321. So he'll know exactly how to handle the pressure of leading a race of this stature. His kart prepared by the hugely successful Kalman Motorsport team, with the Hungarian Gabor Galos working as Ben's race engineer. So all the ingredients are there, and he's certainly made the ideal start to the race. There goes Cooper onto lap 3, out on his own for the time being, but it's really close for second place as Zenderuva piles the pressure onto Carl Ensby. A small gap opens up into turn 2, and that's all the room Deruva needed. No hesitation whatsoever as he moves back into second place now. A good bit of driving that from the Belgian. He carried a bit too much speed into the corner, ran wide on the exit, and in that split second, Zenderuva positioned his kart right up the inside. So Cooper leads by just over a second. Deruva already beginning to get the hammer down in second. Carl Ensby 3rd, then it's Cody Up in this year's Euro Rotax Challenge has dropped to 6th. 7th now is Eduardo Latau, the best placed of the Portuguese drivers in this race. And that's because he's found a way past the Euro champion, Matthias de Tige, who is now down to 8th position. Bit of a twitch there from 363, Konstantin Skalko. Final, get used to a new set of slicks for this race, and it might be just that 1 or 2 drivers are taking a little longer to get the best out of these new tyres, which is not to say they're driving incorrectly, far from it. It may well be. With a long race ahead, some have got the karts and the tyre pressures set. Later on, and could give them a real advantage in the second half of proceedings. top 10 snake their way through the middle sector of this lap into the hairpin, and there's contact as one driver runs into another. That was 357 Kazimieras Vasiliauskas from Lithuania, giving a nudge to 379 Andreas Backman from Sweden. Job done, if you know what I mean. On to lap 5, and Zenderuva is starting to catch the race leader. He's almost halved the gap on that lap. Carl Ensby through in third, and then this battle for fourth with 335. Mika Laiho hunting down Cody Hodgson. He's right on top of the American through turn 1, and now he carries the... in the nick of time. He's having another go here though. Calco in the 363 kart, almost bumper to bumper with the American, and everybody seems to be catching the race leader, not least Zenderuva, who's now taken almost no time to reduce what was a pretty significant lead for Ben Cooper. They do now, and the Belgian goes through at the first time of asking. Very decisive stuff at the hairpin, but when you're that much quicker, it's no wonder he was able to get through with such relative ease. No doubt about it. Ben Cooper is struggling at the moment because it's not just Deruva that's been able to catch him. Carl Ensby. Trying to get the lead back, but he's gone offline, and Ensby slides through to second place. Bit of a misjudgment there from Cooper, that. Oh, the top two collide. Carl Ensby runs into the back of Zenderuva. Ensby's all over the grass. Deruva's going very slowly, and ironically, it's Ben Cooper. As if Ensby was taken by complete surprise, had no time to react, and that resulted in a pretty hefty shunt. Deruva puts his head in his hands. I think he's going slowly, not because of the accident, but because he's got a mechanical problem. Either way, it looks like he's headed for the paddock and retirement. What a time, and ironically, had he not passed Ben Cooper for second place just a few seconds earlier, he might have had that split second longer to react. As it stands though, he's down the order, and it's Ben Cooper who comes out on top, but is this just a temporary respite for the Canadian, because he has been struggling for pace, and ends up a move, and whoosh, he fires one down the inside and moves straight into the lead. 3 different leaders in one lap, less than a lap. The Finnish driver Mika Laiho has advanced from 4th to 1st. Carl Ensby, by the way, the driver who got most delayed by the sudden retirement of Zenderuva, he's still running 3rd, so it only... The front nose cone should have afforded the steering rack and the front wheels some protection. New race leader Mika Laiho recently came close to winning this year's Euro Rotax Match Challenge, after dominating the opening round of that championship to win both the pre-final and the final in Genk. He then had another good result in round 2, won the pre-final in the 4th and final round at Salbris in France. Two-way battle for the lead at the moment, but we're still only just past 1/3 distance, and I'll tell you what, Ben Cooper is hanging onto the shirt towels of Mika Laiho. The Finn has been a bit ragged since gaining the lead of the race, and there might be a chance for Cooper to... This is a very resilient drive from the Anglo-Canadian. He's managed to find an answer to everything they've thrown at him so far. So Ben Cooper leads once more. Mika Laiho is 2nd. Australia's Carl Ensby is beginning to close them down in 3rd. And the leading American driver, Cody Hodgson, remains 4th in kart. From Finland, he's gained 10 places, having qualified 16th on the grid. So the top 10 comprises a Canadian, an Australian, an American, a Latvian and 2 Finns, whilst in 7th place we still have Euro Challenge champion Matthijs de Tige in kart 322. Right, so now he's in the lead, but I don't think it's going to be all that long before Ben Cooper needs to get his elbows out again and defend his position, because they're all coming after him. He's got the measure of Mika Laiho, but it's from 3rd place down that I'd be worried about. Carl Ensby in particular has got great pace at the moment. So that answers my earlier question, in that I don't think he... Ben Cooper's got an issue or not. He was so quick at the start of the race, but maybe it was just because the others were all busy fighting one another that he was able to get up to speed quicker and pull away, because he's since then lost more than half a second lap compared to his earlier pace and compared to what he was doing in the previous. Going to take something pretty special to keep this lot behind him. Meanwhile, there's a move from Konstantin Kalko at the hairpin. He takes fourth place away from Cody Hodgson. A well-executed move under braking from the Latvian. Somebody running way out wide there. The blue and white colours of Finland. So that must be Jari Huttunen. It is. And so the 3-4-6 card of Zaka to 8. And he's going along like a steam train. Sandro Luković, the man from Bosnia and Herzegovina, started this race way back in 31st position. Having had that moment, Huttunen has just lost another place to Luke Kunderi, the South African, who's another driver to charge. Front though, a big attack from Mika Laiho on Ben Cooper, but the Canadian just sits on the inside line, defends his place, and the only option for Laiho was to try the outside line. He's got to be careful because Kyle Ensby is right behind them now in third place, and much the quicker of the three in the 3-2-3 kart. The Australian closes close. To form up behind the race leader Ben Cooper, but the Canadian is driving brilliantly to keep them all at bay. The question is, can he really keep this up for another 10 laps? We're just over halfway into the race with Ben Cooper, Kyle Ensby and Mika Laiho first, second and third. We've got just over 10 laps of this 21-lap DD2 Grand Final to go. British-born Canadian Ben Cooper leads the final race of this annual Rotax Max Grand Finals event, effectively the World Championship for these 125cc karts. He's the defending champion, and he's having to defend like mad in this race because he's coming under huge pressure from Australia's Kyle Ensby. Oh, so close to contact there, but they still run wheel to wheel, and still they cannot find a way to get past Cooper. He won the pre-final, started from pole, opened up something like an 8-length lead in the first few laps, but since about lap 5 he's been struggling, and now Ensby makes the move. Laiho follows him through, and now Laiho around the outside. Cooper tries to fight back. Kalko gets stuck in there, 4 abreast almost. Incredible stuff, but who's got the lead? It's 3-2-3, Kyle Ensby. Konstantin Kalko climbs to second. Cooper is down to third. Cody Hodgson has taken 4th place, and that means Mika Laiho dropped back to 5th. Quite an eventful few corners that for the Finn. He went from 3rd to 2nd, almost got the lead, and then comes out 2 places worse off than he went in. Right, give me a moment to gather my thoughts. I'll just lie down at the end of all this. It's been action-packed, never a dull moment in kart racing. There's always something kicking off somewhere. We're on to the start of lap 13. Kyle Ensby, Konstantin Kalko and Ben Cooper, the top 3. But if you think the race is going to settle down now, and the order's going to stay like this for another 9 laps, you're off your trolley. No chance. You'd think a race would spread out after 12 laps. This one seems to get closer and closer the longer it runs. We're about to move into the final third of the race, and what drama then does this chapter have in store for us? Kyle Ensby is the race leader with Konstantin Kalko inches from his rear bumper. Well, he might not be for much longer, and he's not anymore because the Latvian snatches the lead of the race on the way into turn 2. Former leader Ben Cooper closes back up to them both as Ensby tries to fight back, but he's going to be compromised on the outside line at the hairpin. Cooper knows this, pounces like a hungry leopard. The Canadian steals 2nd place. So Konstantin Kalko becomes our 4th different leader. He's there in the 363 kart, the MRG group. 2nd for Kalman Motorsport is Ben Cooper. 3rd for International Karting Distributor is Kyle Ensby. In 4th place is Cody Hodgson for Max Speed Group. And 5th for the Jussi-Pekka Laiho team, Mika Laiho. Revise that because Cooper has just retaken the lead. Ensby is closing in from 3rd place, but there's contact between Hodgson, Ensby and Kalko. 2nd, 3rd and 4th, Ensby I think on the grass, and Mika Laiho is absolutely gifted 2nd place as he drives past all 3 of them. A replay, this is the initial move from Cooper on Kalko for the lead. A clean pass, but then Ensby with the green helmet tries to nab 2nd place around the outside. They bang wheels, and then the white kart, Cody Hodgson, smacks into the back of Ensby, shoves them both out wide, opening the door wide open for Laiho to come through, all of which has helped to give Ben Cooper a decent lead once again. In fairness, it's only Ben's excellent move and hard work that gave him the position back out front, but the others are helping him out here. And there's yet another change with 363 Konstantin Skalko darting past Mika Laiho to recover second place. Now Sandro Luković gets past Laiho as well, so too does Carl Ensby. Laiho never seems to be in the same position for more than about 5 seconds, does he? Where is he now? I think he's been pushed right down the order, certainly out of the top 6. Ben Cooper leads, Konstantin Skalko is second, then it's Sandro Luković having a stunning race in third place. Not too bad from, where was he, 31st on the grid? Strong candidate for driver of the race, that. And then up to the 4th place now, the highest he's been in the entire race is the Euro champion, Matthias De Tiege in kart 322. Cody Hodgson, the American, is 5th in kart 329. Down to 6th now has gone the unfortunate Carl Ensby in kart 323. I feel more than a bit sorry for Carl. He's driven well, but just seems to keep ending up being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ahead now onto the start of lap 16, just 6 to go. And what about this drive from Sandro Luković? 31st on the grid, almost dead last, and here he is in the podium positions. Quite incredible from the driver who recently finished 2nd in the Central and Eastern European Rotax Max Challenge, a new and increasingly prestigious international championship. Now meanwhile, there's a change for 5th place as Carl Ensby begins his latest fight back. He's just moved ahead of Cody Hodgson, and I suppose if he's quick enough, he could yet get a podium out of this. And I wonder if there's any chance of Mika Laiho getting back up into the top 6 and maybe beyond. He's been in pretty much every position in the top 10 in this race except the lead, and the Finn nearly had that a couple of times. Well, whatever happens, this has been a truly fitting way to round out this event. Kart racing of the very highest quality in this DD2 final for the twin-speed 32 horsepower karts. Now, what's happening up front? Cooper's looking comfortable in the lead, but it's side by side for second as Luković presses Kalko, runs off the road in his efforts to get past. Matthias De Tiege has moved alongside them both in the 322 kart after getting a far better exit. All 3 of them run together into the first corner. Who's going to be brave enough on the brakes? De Tiege has got the inside line, but Kalko hangs on around the outside, and with sheer uncompromising determination, the Latvian retains second place. De Tiege does gain 1 place though. He's moved ahead of Sandro Luković. That was absolutely brilliant from Konstantin Skalko. The odds stacked against him there, but he was either going to stay second or crash trying. Brave stuff behind them. Cody Hodgson also got past Luković, so he's lost 2 places in that little battle. It all bunches up into braking, and now look at this. Mika Laiho in the blue and white race suit has just picked up 2 places as he whizzes past Luković and Ensby to go 5th. Typically gritty performance from the Finn. Just look how close it is. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th. 10 karts covered by less than 3 seconds. Competitive to say the very least, but out front now, with perhaps his biggest lead of the entire race, is Ben Cooper, the driver who just will not be beaten. He keeps bobbing back to the surface like a cork in the water. Every time we think he's going to drop down the order in the race, he digs in and he fights back. These 2 are trying to catch him. Konstantin Skalko and Matthias De Tiege running absolutely together in 2nd and 3rd. Are they going to work together in an attempt to close the gap? It's still possible. 3 laps to go, including the one we're on. De Tiege has already proven that patience can pay off. He was out of the top 6 for 3/4 of the race, but he's come good at just the right moment. There's plenty of time for the whole dynamic of this race to change. And here's some more overtaking as 329. Cody Hodgson gets ahead of 341. Sandro Luković. And I would imagine that Luković is feeling incredibly frustrated right now. He did all that work to get from 31st to 3rd. But with just a few laps to go, he slipped back to 7th place now. There goes Ben Cooper onto lap 20, the penultimate lap of the race. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing. Stay focused, retain his concentration. What's this? A collision further down the top 10. Cody Hodgson left pointing in the wrong direction, and the American came together with one of the Canadians, Nicholas Latifi, in the 336 kart. And it looks like Hodgson triggered all that by running into the back of Latifi. The American comes off worse. He has to wait to get back into the race, but now really it's all game over. Very disappointing after qualifying 3rd on the grid. Meanwhile, we go back to the leader, and Ben Cooper is giving nothing away here. If anything, his lead has grown. So it's looking like this final lap and a half is going to be about who finishes second. Latvia's Konstantin Skalko still holds the place, but he's got Belgium's Matthias De Tiege on his case, and they are both being caught by former race leader Carl Ensby from Australia. And I still wouldn't entirely rule out Mika Laiho, the Finn, in kart 335. He's 3 or 4 lengths back in 5th place, but I reckon he's catching them up. Heading onto the straight and about to start the final lap, meanwhile, is the race leader. Ben Cooper has just over a minute to go and is enjoying a healthy 1.5 second lead. Here comes the battle for the runner-up spot. Kalko, De Tiege, Ensby. And Ensby had a look at De Tiege there, but the Belgian stands tall and defends his 3rd place. Well, after everything he's been through in this race, Carl Ensby will be utterly determined to get a trophy out of it. But if there's one driver he wouldn't fancy to get past in the final lap of the race, it's probably the European Rotax Max champion, Matthias De Tige. The nose to tail, Ensby gives De Tige a tap and he's through to third place. Mika Laiho almost on terms with them as well. With just half a lap to go, Carl Ensby takes the final podium position away from Matthias De Tige. But it was a bit naughty because he hit De Tige, sent him wide at the corner and then drove past on the apex. De Tige, I'm sure, will be more than a little aggrieved at that. Some controversy then right at the end of the final race of the weekend then, but there is no questioning the superb performance from this young man as Ben Cooper accelerates over the line, takes the checkered flag and punches the air. It's his third time winning the Rotax Max Grand Finals, but this might just be his finest drive because of the way he dug in during the middle of that race when his tyres just seemed to run out of life. A famous victory then from Ben Cooper, who wins the DD2 Grand Final for Kalman Motorsport Hungary. That's his third title, and he matches the new record set earlier today by Cristiano Morgado for the most number of wins at this event. A real champion's drive, that, by the Canadian. Well done also to Konstantins Kalko, who put together a very impressive drive to take second place in the race. The Latvian catching the eye in particular with that moment late on when he had the Euro champion Matthias De Tige thundering down the inside of him at turn 1 and still somehow held on to retain second place. But there is some consolation for De Tige because, having crossed the line fourth, the Belgian is given back a place on the podium. Following that controversial nudge on the final lap, Carl Ensby was given a penalty by the officials and put back to fourth place in the results. So it's Ben Cooper, Konstantins Kalko and Matthias De Tige, the revised top three.
An exciting day. What can you tell us? What was it from the inside?
It was very nerve-wracking. The final for me is probably on the hardest. Well, it's for sure the hardest race I've ever raced in my life, and to bring home the third world title for KMS and Peter Kalman and everyone in Canada and from my homeland in England it's fantastic.
I've seen the race, but I just missed that second where you regained the lead. What happened there?
Going into the tight right hairpin. I was in second, a few car lengths back. I knew I had to go then to hopefully make the guys behind fight so he'd get a gap, and that's what I done. And the guys behind me fought and we got a gap, and then I was just holding on for dear life.
Did you knew he will make a mistake?
I thought they might fight and might crash into each other a little bit and allow me to break away. I was hoping that would happen, and lucky it did.
You started with a great distance between you and the others, and that you got lost that somewhere. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, I don't know. We got a good gap at the start, a very good gap, and under any normal circumstances that would have been it for the whole race. But for some reason we were very slow. I don't know what it could be. The kart was set up the same as yesterday in the heats when we were setting the fastest laps, and today in the final we just struggled, and I had to really race my heart out. So that's the reason. I think we set the 17th fastest lap, so I don't think if anybody's ever won a world championship setting the 17th fastest lap. So no, but luckily we've done it, and I'm very proud to do it for everybody in Hungary, for Peter Kalman and everyone in Canada.
So we're also working for the Hungarians. Can you tell us something about them?
It's great. I mean, since I've joined Peter Kalman last year, at the beginning of the year in 2011, we've won the European Championships together last year in Senior Max, the World Champions together, and this World Championship. We also won the Florida Winter Tour in America, so everything I've done with them has been fantastic, and I kind of feel a part of the Hungarian team and karting.
Let's wrap things up with a look at the Nations Cup, which goes for the first time since 2009 to Great Britain. Headed by Ben Cooper's DD2 class win, Canada takes second, and last year's winners, Australia, are third. Next year, the 14th running of the Rotax Max Grand Finals will head across the Atlantic for the first time, with the action set to come from the NOLA Motorsport Park in New Orleans. Until then, thanks for watching.